So, angle of elevation and depression. Now, to make this more graphical, because you just need to make the whole thing graphical so you can understand and have a better feel of what we're talking about. So let's say that this is a building, a tall building. Of course, it must be on the horizontal ground this way. And then let's say that we have a boy standing, this way. Now, you agree that when this boy that is standing is looking at this building, all right, he's neither looking up or down, just looking straight ahead horizontally to this building. See that this will be his line of sight. His line of sight is going to be in this way. I'm supposed to use a broken line for that, but let's just continue that way. So this would be his line of sight. So one of the most important terms I would like for you to note in this topic is what we call the line of sight. All right. So let me mark an arrow on top the building. Let's say that our focus is to see, beyond this our horizontal line of sight. I want to see what's on top the building. But now you see the looking straight ahead onto the building, he's just looking horizontally. So that is his line of sight. That is his normal line of sight. That means at this point he's neither looking up nor down. But he gets that this wouldn't be profitable to him since he wants to see something that's on top of the building. That means he needs to elevate his line of sight. I know I'm using the word elevate, all right, since we're talking about angle of elevation. So let it not be a big word. Elevation simply means you're looking above, right? So he needs to look above his line of sight. So he needs to make the line of sight to be what need to look above, just keeping it simple. So now, in order to see things above, he needs to look above the line of sight this way so he can actually see what's on top of the building. Now, this alone here is the concept of angle of elevation. Now, what is angle of elevation? Is that angle that is formed, between the horizontal line of sight. So you see the horizontal line of sight there and the elevated line of sight. So that angle formed there, let me call it E for elevation. That would be the angle of elevation. So simple. That's what it means. So if you understand this concept of line of sight, everything becomes easy. While for depression, you see that it's just the same case, just in reverse. So let's say we have a building again, of course on a horizontal ground, and then this time around we want to see, all right, we want to see an object. Let me mark the object P, for instance. We want to see this object P, all right, from the top of the building. Now this time we are at the top of the building, so we want to see the object. Of course, again, when you're there, you see that this will be your line of sight, all right. You will just be looking above in that way. Now we want to look beneath our line of sight so we can be able to see this object as P. So we need to look below our line of sight. So when you look below your line of sight is depression. So that's what depression is all about. So the angle of depression now will be the angle also that is formed between the horizontal and then your depressed line of sight. So let me call that D. All right, so that's what angle of elevation and angle of depression is. Now, one thing you need to also note is that there is a relationship between the angle of elevation and the angle of depression. So let's say we have a cliff or a tower, any high place for as it may be. So we have it there, trying to make it to be high enough, and then we have the horizontal ground, of course. Okay, so in this case, let's say that we are at this point P now, the observer, right? So the observer is at that point P, and you want to see an object, let's say at this point A, on top the building, of course. So you see that whenever there is no height, you need to note whenever there is no height given for the observer. So we just said the observer is at this point P on the horizontal floor. All right, so you want to look at the point A on top the building. So you see that the angle of elevation would be the angle that is formed, between your elevated line of sight and the horizontal. So of course you can see that this angle here would be our angle of elevation. So let's call it E. Now from this point A also, if I try to look at that object P from that point A, you see that this will be my line of sight from the point A. Now this will be the line of sight. So you see that the angle of depression now, since I'm looking down, the angle of depression will still be on that blue line. All right, from the horizontal plane to that blue line is going to be my angle of depression, which is D. So what I'm just trying to pass across here is that from two common points, what's our points here now? Point A and point P. Now, two common points are equidistant from each other. The angle of elevation is always going to be equal to the angle of depression, because you can see the relationship between these angles, angle D and angle E, is alternate angles, and alternate angles are equal. You see that these horizontal lines are going to be parallel, so they are going to be parallel there. So we have that the angle of elevation E at that point will be equal to the angle of depression D. So you just need to know this. So if you understand these concepts, there's nothing much in angle of elevation and depression. So for this first part of the video, we just want to try to understand the concept of angle of elevation and depression. Then the other parts are going to begin to solve questions. As we keep solving, we keep getting more difficult questions and see how we are progressing. All right, so if you did understand, I would like for you to comment, drop a comment in the comment section. If you have any question, you can also ask and share with your friends. Please ensure to subscribe, and God bless you.